Right then, I'm at Edinburgh Airport and I'm off down to Slough. Get there tonight, a couple of meetings tomorrow, and then back home tomorrow night. And that means I'm going to be filming my second part of my multiple sclerosis symptoms. I'm either at the airport here or at the hotel when I get back down to Slough tonight. One of the things that I've noticed when I was making a list of all the different symptoms that I have gone through my MS relapses, I didn't realise there were so many. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about Lhermittes syndrome. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll certainly post a little bit about it. And more pins and needles, but not in my hands this time, in my feet and legs. Thanks for joining in, thanks for taking time to watch. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much. And if you've just stumbled across this channel, why not subscribe and keep up to date with what I go on about. Cheers, bye. I decided that the best place to do the recording was in my hotel room. The airport was just a little bit too noisy, and I haven't had a chance to do it anywhere else to get part 2 of MS symptoms with Barney Black. Like I said, these are my symptoms. These are personal to me. They're obviously unique in their blend as to what makes up my multiple sclerosis. And like I said in the first video, I ain't a doctor. I am no medical person. And if you happen to think that you've got symptoms similar to what I describe, please go get yourself checked out, and I suspect they have got nothing to do with MS. Right then, what am I'm going to talk about on this particular video, part 2. Lhermittes. I think it's Lhermittes? Yeah, Lhermittes syndrome and pins and needles. Lhermittes syndrome is something which I found out what it was called after the event, and it was a symptom or a sensation that I began to feel when I was sat down driving in the car and I'd bend my head forward. And it's also known as the barber chair syndrome. Now, I've not been to the barbers in a long time. I keep this fine hairstyle all of my own in the house. But it's known as a barber chair syndrome because when you bend your head forward, you get that shooting of nerves. It's like an electric shock, an electric pulse that goes down your arms and perhaps even your body as well. For me, it hasn't been painful. It's been a symptom or a sensation which I even tried to make happen because I wanted to be able to test it. I wanted to be able to know, was there a particular point in how I would bend my head that would trigger off that sensation. Subsequently, I found out that it's quite a common symptom for people with multiple sclerosis. It hasn't caused me any pain, I have to be honest, and it hasn't caused me any difficulties in mobility. But as far as a sensation goes, if you can imagine getting a very subtle electric shock through your arms or through your body by bending your head, that's what it's like, and it's immediate, it's really quick. It's not something that builds up or lingers. It is like a switch, and it happens when you bend your head forward. So Lhermittes syndrome. The other set of symptoms which happened at a very similar time of my journey through MS was the pins and needles I talked about in the other video in my hand. I began to feel very similar sensations in my feet. Initially my left foot, and again it started in the toes before it spread to the rest of my foot, and then it actually graduated up my leg to about knee level, and then I began to feel the same sensations on my right foot as well. Now I still have pins and needles in my feet all the time. I also have a sensation on the soles of my feet, which the best way I have of describing it is like walking on crumpled up socks. It's very, or walking on marbles. There's a discomfort on the soles of my feet when I walk, and it's just something I've got used to. It doesn't make me limp, it doesn't make me alter my walk in any particular way. It's a sensation because it's driven through the nerves, which I just deal with. I'm happy to deal with. I do remember playing football and the impact of the ball, I couldn't feel it as I would normally, but I could see it, so I knew I was making contact and I knew that I was hitting the ball. But the actual sensations that I guess a normal sense of touch would give you, I wasn't getting that anymore, and I don't get that anymore. And it makes it a little bit difficult from a running point of view as well, because my feet are always tired because of the pins and needles sensation. They always feel kind of worn out. But I know that that's more to do with the messages that the nerves are, or actually are not, sending to and from the nervous system and to my brain, and that's why I'm confident about continuing to run or continuing to play football. That I know there's physically nothing wrong, if that makes sense. It's the sensation that's wrong, and that's how I deal with it. That's how I compensate for the feelings that I've got. The other thing that the other sensation which I'd like to try and describe is, if you can imagine wearing compression socks, but not just one pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs on top of each other. That's the sensation that I have on my legs, particularly from the knees down. And they're always got that pressure feeling on them, which, like I said, it feels, the best way I can describe is wearing compression socks. Again, it's an uncomfortable sensation, it's an inconvenient sensation, but it isn't something which is stopping me doing things physically. It can be a little bit more tiring, and it can sometimes make me think that I'm more physically tired than I probably am, but I've got my own ways of managing that and my own techniques of managing that. So that's part 2, Lhermittes syndrome and more pins and needles. If you've got any questions, or you'd like to ask me anything about my multiple sclerosis or even my running, please feel free, add the comments below. If you've subscribed, thank you again. If you're new to my channel and fancy subscribing to keep up to date with MS or my running achievements for 2020, please feel free to be a subscriber. Thanks for watching, be cool.